Hi everyone, it's Cherie from Paper Pieces and Leftovers. I know about 2 weeks ago I did Cruella. I did a lot of them. If you look at my Facebook page, I am still seeing spots. So that being said, I'm slowly getting the file completed as I go, which is Queen of Mean. It can be found at marjorieanndesigns.com. It is on sale right now for $2.28. I'm looking at this in Lifetime. I have Jasper and Horace. Jasper's the taller one, Horace is the whiter one. Initially I had said that I imported him at 12.5 width. I didn't, I lied. So I imported him at 12.25, which auto-adjusted in the width. That auto-adjusted the height to 9.315. And for Horace, he was imported at 11.5 width. That auto-adjusted the height to 8.618. Now, I don't know, since I am doing these in Lifetime, if I'm going to do both. In Lifetime, I just mean not doing a voiceover, just winging it, mistakes and all, and I'm not going to edit anything, just because I get more videos up that way, it feels like. His hair is not glued on. I do show the Cosmic Shimmer Flake and Glitter Glue. It comes in a big bottle. I ordered a big one and a small one so I could refill it. The hair placement was just so I could put his hat on and know where I needed to, let me make sure that's in screen. I can move him up a little. Know where I needed to place the hat on his head in order for me to do his face. Now, I do the faces, the eyes, off camera just because I do a little bit more to the eyes and I don't want to share every single thing I do. It's been an argument with my husband since day one about sharing anything, but, you know, men, I don't know why. I don't even keep secrets from him. I don't know why he thinks I can keep them from other people, but whatever. My dogs are in a playful mood. I apologize. My daughter is in the living room watching TV, just so the dogs don't keep bringing me their toys. So, excuse me. I'm sorry, that was right in your ears. I changed up his colors a little bit. I'm using black cardstock for his hair and the soles of his shoes. Everything else I went with American Crafts is all my paper, but I went with the color Granite and I went around it with Catherine Pooler's Blackjack, just because I didn't want all the black fading into each other. So I put the soles on first. And the only other thing that I did different, I'll get you this color here in just a moment. I did use Catherine Pooler Over Coffee for this brown. Give me a second and I'll pull those out. Oh, let go. I just want to make sure we're even. And this is because I did not dry piece this to know exactly where to just lay it down at. That's why I usually dry piece before videos, but I was trying to get the video done for you guys, just because I know some of you guys ended up doing Cruella with the help of the video. The color of this brown, I left them all out. That way I could fill you guys in. And there's my squeaky chair, just for all those that, you know, like that noise. It's the color Walnut. It's by Basil. I don't know if that color is still available, just because a lot of my papers have been discontinued. So I would go with probably chocolate, because chestnut is going to be way too dark. Because his pants are, no, actually I would go with truffle. If I didn't have that, I would have grabbed truffle. Because going around it with a darker brown, it'll then make it look lighter. And I'm just cutting the bottoms off since I didn't go through and dry piece and put my markings, as you guys see, on my pencil marks. And sorry that I'm so disorganized today. This was a last minute decision to do this. The weather here in California is absolutely crazy right now. A lot of wind. It was so nice this past weekend, as you guys seen. We were outside barbecuing, enjoying the weather, and now we're back to cold and the heater. Doesn't make any sense. So when I put the pans on, I just want to make sure that I can't see any of my cardstock underneath. I do go around my edges with a darker color. Excuse me. Just because I don't want to see the peach cardstock if I didn't line it up great. So now we are going to put his shirt on. Let me move his hands out of the way. Actually, I'll put his shoes on. That'll cut down the pieces a little bit quicker. And this is the darker gray color. And I went around it, like I said, with Blackjack and Catherine Pooler. But it was just that way, then it wasn't so much black, because I didn't want to bombard it. It's graphite. That's the color with Catherine, or with American Crafts. I didn't want to bombard it with black, just because everything is, his hair is black. The picture, it looks like his coat and his shoes and everything is black, but they lightened the color maybe a skew or two, just so that way it wasn't completely pitch black. But I'm happy with going with the lighter inner parts and the darker outer parts of the gray. I'm completely happy with how it looks. Let's see, camera's over on this side. Yeah. It just gives it a little bit more prominence where it's not just gonna blend all in, especially for the shoes and the soles. But that's just me. I am the weird one and do the most random stuff, but that's why you guys like to scrap lift and make what I do. If I just cut and glued, it wouldn't be any fun. So between his legs is a little, like a higher marking. That's where his shirt goes. The bottom of his shirt. That side looks whiter. Yeah, we're just gonna play it safe. I think one end is whiter than the other, but I'm not sure because, like I said, I didn't lay any of this out before I actually did it. We're just gonna do this together. Now, the reason why I color my edges, and it doesn't matter what you use, just make, you can even use your dauber, just because I'm going to put his sleeves behind it. But imagine seeing the paper in between. If I didn't line it up perfectly, you could see it. And that's just something I don't want to look at personally. And I haven't done that forever. Probably over the last year, off and on. Well, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, because I've been doing YouTube a lot longer than a year. And I let up for a while just because, as you guys know, I was given some grief. And I can help. I love helping, but just don't abuse it. You know, I have to get my stuff done, and I don't want to see an exact replica. I love that you guys like our work a lot and enough to copy it. That's great. But sometimes I don't have time in between paper piecing, my disabled daughter, my body, being a wife, you know, doctor's appointments, to answer every specific question. And sometimes if I don't share, it's one, because it's not available, and it's discontinued probably because some of my paper I've been hoarding, literally hoarding since 2003 when I started. Back when my mom and I used to go to the scrapbook store in Valencia, California. Now, this part does come attached. I cut it so I didn't have to fuss with a pom-pom and inking in between. That was just going to be too much for me. If you'd like to sit there and do it, you may. Just take a pom-pom and go in between, but I cut it that way I could ink up since it's not going to show anyways. Now, his turtleneck, there's a rounded part on the left. The flat edge is on the top, so the rounded part is going to be on the left compared to the right. It's more slanted, but it's not rounded. And I'm just looking at the base, and I do love bases. I've had a couple questions about, how do you work without a base? Trust me, girls. Oh my gosh, we are so spoiled with bases. If it's a pattern that doesn't have a lot of layers, I do create my own base because of the sturdiness from all the layers. But if it's a thinner pattern, I add the base so it doesn't bend. But if there's a lot of layers and I know that my pattern seems pretty stable, then I don't create the base. Or depending on the size of it, my fingers are really swollen today. I had to take off my other ring, and I'm just not used to this one rubbing up here, sorry. But I go by the feel of the pattern. When I dry piece it, I can tell if there's plenty of layers or not, where it's gonna bend. And if it's gonna bend when I turn my scrapbook pages, or I'm uncomfortable with sending it to you guys, shipping it, then I'm absolutely gonna put a base on it. I try to reinforce it, that way it's more durable for you guys. I would not send you guys anything that I was not willing to buy. You know, that's one thing about me, is I am always looking for ways to improve my technique. I'm still not perfect. I still mess up. I still throw away pieces. I'm a perfectionist, you know. I'm a Virgo, but Libra is the day before, so everybody says, like, you know, I got the worst of both worlds. So I'm going to glue the back of his head to put his mess of his baldy top of his head and his little sprigs in the back. I didn't measure the back. You'll see the hat I did, and that was only so I could put the hat in the same place that I had it when I actually put the eyes on. I touched the back, sorry. You can tell that I'm a little scatterbrained today. I apologize. Now, the bottom of the hair lines up with his cheeks. That's the path that I went, and I just tried to get the sprigs in the middle as much as I could. My daughter's watching Catfish, because I noticed that the bottom wasn't showing in the picture, so that's just the route I took. Me and all my 1,000 hand gestures, sorry. So now I'm going to put the hat on. I'll do his eyebrows later. I just mostly wanted to get him together for you guys, for anybody that did Cruella. And what I did is I did take a white chalking pencil, even though I shouldn't have put his hair on yet. I'm gonna have to, oh, thank God the little bald guy doesn't have hair. Eyeball it to about where I had it. Oh, that's actually perfect. Okay. My white line is right at the top of his head. And you'll see on the other one, that was so I could put his hat back on, so it was evenly distributed from his lengthwise from his eyes, because I didn't want him too high or too low. I do play around with the hair, the hats, the sunglasses if they're on their forehead, all that fun stuff before I put anything down as far as eyes, because I don't want my sunglasses down here and the hair up here, or the hair here and the eyes up here. It just has to be kind of symmetrical for me. So now we are going to do the sleeves, and the rounder part, because one side is completely straight, the rounder part is going to go on the side facing out. And I believe they're not going to cover all the way just because they feel a little bit shorter. Oh, the burgundy paper that I used for his shirt. Let me help you guys. And the peach I use is discontinued. It's a 2013 to 2016 Stampin' Up. I have probably 4,000 sheets of it. I thought I only had 2,000, but I went into the paper holders in my room and I have 4 drawers. No, it's got to be more than 4,000 sheets. Anyways, I bought every bit I could find, and over the years just collecting it. I found this on clearance at Hobby Lobby a while back when they were clearing out all their cardstock, so I don't know what color the burgundy is. Let's see if I have the swatch. If I didn't have that book, I guess I would use pomegranate. That actually looks perfect, and it's very close to what I have. And I went around it in the ink by Catherine Pooler called Merlot, M-E-R-L-O-T. It's actually a red. Let me grab it. It's in the red line of them. If you search by color, it is right here. And for my skin tone, I always use Clay Mask. I went around the graphite, the dark gray, and blackjack. I didn't use black. This is slightly lighter than black. This is how it dries. It does not dry as dark as black. And then for the pants, I went with Over Coffee by Catherine Pooler, and his shirt was Merlot. I can grab the colors I used on the chubby little dude, Horace. Just that way then you guys have something to refer to. Because you guys know I'm all about helping sometimes. And sometimes I'm just here to help you guys paper piece, not necessarily for going over all the colors, because it is time consuming as well to write them down or to remember. Especially when we start paper piecing and it's been a while and we go back to it later and we look at it and we're like, oh my goodness, I do not remember that color at all. So his sleeves are kind of offset on the sides here. And I knew that when I felt how skinny they were compared to when I inked the sleeve. And the reason I put him together first was so I could get his arms more so in the right place. And I didn't want to play the guessing game. So we're gonna just throw some glue on the back. I'm gluing with the heart. Actually, I can go all the way down because his sleeve does go further. And I'm only doing one side since I'm holding the other because I don't want glue everywhere. That looks good to me. Go up a little higher since he is taller. All right. And I will go back later and do all my shading when I post the final project, and he'll have eyebrows. I do not want him looking like me. I do not have eyebrows. As I've gotten older, they've become more invisible. One, because there's just lack of, and two, what I do have is gray. So, funny story, I let my mother shape my eyebrows when I was in my late 20s. They never grew back. Lesson learned. Thanks, Mom. And I'm just going to try to eyeball this to get it as even as the other side. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I haven't really been in a chitty-chatty mood. My mom gets on me because I don't call her every day. Shoot, I hardly call her. And it's just like, I sit here in my own world with my paper piecings. And I forget that the world exists sometimes. And I just made a mess because I didn't use my gummy eraser over there because I didn't feel like getting up. Okay. I'll clean that up with the gummy eraser once I get up, but that's fine. All right, let's put his hands on. I just want to make sure that I have the right hand on the right side. I'm going to go ahead and just make a mess so I can guess where they all go, gluing from the heart, because I wipe it all off anyways. Yeah, we'll go right about here. And the other one will go right about here. All right, and there is Mr. Jasper. I might have to turn him sideways because he is so tall, or let me zoom out a little. Okay. Back to paper piecing. Let's go to the next guy. This is Horace, so this is my guy that's 11.5 width and 8.618 in height. Now, oh goodness, the green. I don't remember the green offhand. Hold on, guys. The blue is discontinued. I already know that. My blue has been discontinued for a long, long time. So the green is the color Grass by American Crafts. And my blue that's going to be closest to it is Blue Jay by American Crafts. Well, denim is actually a good color as well. I do use denim, but sometimes I don't always want it as dark. So in between, yeah. For the more blue jean look is either Blue Jay or denim. Those are my two.